You're fine.
I'd like to welcome everybody for coming out today. Obviously, it's a big transition we're about to undergo here at Bolles, and I just wanted to introduce Coach Rogers and let him answer some questions. Obviously, I know you have a lot for him, and without taking too much of your time, just turn it over to Coach Rogers and let him say some things, and then if you guys have questions, we'll follow up with that.
Talk about the decision. I know it's got to be hard for you. I know how much you love the coach, but you had said if you can't put 100% into it, so just talk a little bit about the decision and when you made it.
Well, it's obviously this summer I had health problems, and I've kind of been battling it all along. I want to coach. I mean, it's what I know, it's what I love doing. And it's just gotten to be where I can't, my classes, I'm sitting in a chair. I'm not coaching, I'm not teaching. That's not fair to the kids. And I don't want to, shorten them in any way in that they need somebody that's active, that's able to do things. We've got so many good guys around us. One of the things, Dan, that I would really like people to understand is, and I'm not ever trying to be humble about this, but I've had such good people working with me all these years. And a lot of the successes that we've had have been because of these guys. And that's why I think the program can go on. I think I'm a part of it, but I brought work habits and work ethic, but knowledge-wise, they're smarter than I was. I think when you look back at games, I know I got out-coached in games. I know that sometimes. That always bothered me. I don't think we ever got outworked. I do not think that happened. I think if I could, go back and make a certain call at a certain time, I could have changed the outcome of some things. But our guys that we have here, I was telling Coach Flynn from Ribault, who I had at Ribault Junior, and he had quite a coaching career at Ribault, coaching basketball and football out there. One of the things that I felt like, Dan, because of our staff and the way we had worked at Lee High School and here at Bolles, a lot of times we go to play people, and I hate to say it, I'd never tell our team this, but I felt sorry for the other team. I knew they had good kids, they were big and strong looking, coaches were good, but they didn't know what they were getting into. We worked every day all year. We didn't make many mistakes. And a lot of these teams would fall by the wayside as the game went on. It wasn't because they weren't well coached. It wasn't because they didn't have good players. They had not put in what our kids had put in and what our coaches had. So any success we had, I think a lot of it came from that. It's not Corky Rogers, the coach. We're all coaches. We're all part of it. Everybody plays a role in this thing. And the success that goes on, there are so many people that we have to depend on. And, we've been blessed to have had that. So the part that I played is just, I was lucky to get the job, to do the best I could, but a great support all the way around as far as the kids go. I hate it for them because I wanted to be there for them. But they're kids, they'll adjust. I have something else. People think that I'm a real disciplinarian on certain things. There was an old coach who I thought, when I went to Lee High School, was a student named Warren Kirkland. Warren Kirkland, a lot of people, his name has kind of been forgotten over the years, was a very successful coach at Lee High School. And when I was a sophomore, he was the head football coach. Very tough man. I mean, just tough. And when I became a head coach, we were at a function one time, and he said to me, "Coach, don't ever set a rule that you can't bend a little." I thought, coming from him, I didn't think he bent for anything. But if you put something on paper and you make a rule out of it, then you have to follow it. So I don't have many things written down that people have to follow. We still try to hold true to our principles. But their situations change, kids change, they're different, everything's different. It's not the same every time. And we all want to put it in this one bag and think it's all going to come out the same. Well, it doesn't. So you have to change that way a little bit, but still stick by your beliefs and you know, try to do what's right. I've always told people this too. I don't care how poor a neighborhood you come from. I don't care how rich a neighborhood you come from. Right is right and wrong is wrong. It was Christmas time one time and I went by, we went to look at Christmas lights. And as a family, it was my mom and dad and I. And boy, you saw some of these families that had just thousands of lights. It was just so beautiful looking. You know, as a young kid, that impressed me. And then we came to a neighborhood and there was one candle, I'll never forget it, sitting in a window. And my dad said to me, you know, that candle means the same to those people as all those lights mean to the other. They just don't have the money that, you know, to do that. So I've always believed that it's nice being wealthy, it's nice having things, but your beliefs and what you stand for is more important. No, I want to help any way I can. You know, I'm not going to sit down and do nothing. That's just not me. But if they want me to help as a ball boy, I'll be a ball boy. I don't care. I don't have any pretense about anything. But I want to stay active, at least in my mind. And if I can help out in some ways, I'd be glad to. But the Bolles School has meant so much to me and my family. And it came at a time in my life where I had been injured, car wreck, so forth, and I couldn't get around. And from that day on, it was the year before I came to Bolles, I couldn't get in a stance. I couldn't run a step. I couldn't do any of the things that I'd always done. And so when I came over here, I was an injured person. But Bolles treated our family so well and gave me the opportunity to have good coaches with me, gave me the opportunity to coach great kids. And it's just been a fun ride ever since. It really has been. One of the things that I think something I am proud of though too, is that when we got beat, our coaches, our players, I never wanted to make an excuse. There's so many times when you beat people, wow, the referees beat us, the so-and-so beat us, the so-and-so. No, we got beat. We'll try to do better next time. But don't make excuses. That does no good. You don't advance your program by making excuses. And we tried to let our kids know that from the start. You know, we're going to give it our best, and sometimes it's not good enough. And does that make you a loser? No. You had a bad day. Things didn't work right. We could have done things better. If you don't think it's been frustrating for me these last state championship games, and for a while there, we were on a roll where, you know, I thought people that came in second place I didn't word about them, but now, I mean, we got so many seconds in a row there at the end that it was disappointing in a sense because our kids had worked so hard and our coaches had coached so hard, and we wanted to win, but we just, I know some of our coaches are here. I actually haven't watched the championship game yet. I kind of do that on purpose some years. And I'll sit down eventually and look at it, but I know I'd get mad if I saw something I could have done differently. And and so forth. It's fun when the young guys feel like that you've treated them fair. I think that's what I always wanted, was to treat people fair. I'm hard on all of them. I mean, I'm hard. I don't give in, and I'm relentless on some things. But down deep, I always felt like I was trying to do something for them. And I don't know if they ever saw it that way, but I thought so. The thing that I like best, football practice is not fun. Anybody think that's fun? You got to experience a few more things in this world, because that's not a lot of fun. But I love practice because, I don't know, you see people, they don't want to be there. It's hot always, and it's, it's just tough. But I'm a guy that always kind of enjoyed, I didn't enjoy practicing when I was playing, but when I'm coaching, I enjoyed that aspect of it. You ever seen anybody that didn't enjoy Friday night? I mean, think about it. I've had guys over the years say, hey, can I help you coach? I can only be there Friday nights. Well, that's wonderful. I'd like to just show up on Friday night. It would be fun. But, the work's got to be done this other time. And I think that our kids, like I say, they know what they went through. And we got into public-private school conversations from time to time. A lot of people forgot I was in the public system for 20 years. So I've been on both sides of the deal. And I can promise you one thing, putting in the effort, putting in the work, it doesn't matter where you are. You have to do that to be successful. Our guys wear a shirt and tie to school. Public schools, you don't. Does that make them a lesser person? No. Just a different situation. Do I think in my heart that doing it this way is best? I do. You ever tried to come to a Bolles practice and not have a pair of white socks pulled up behind it? You don't know what I'm talking about. Ask the players. I'll send the guy off the field that quick, because a football team, we don't believe in individuals around here. I want white socks. I don't want those little things that you wear in the mall that have a ball hanging out the back. They're little footies. They're great for some things. They're not good for football. When I took the job at Lee High School, they were wearing all black cleats, and they were 1 and 9. So I said, I got to do something. This is not going to make it. So we were the first team in town as a group, all white shoes, high white socks, high white shoes. I don't even know if I liked them, but we looked quicker. We looked faster. We were still the same very average team, but we looked like we were quicker. So what have I done for 40-something years? Exactly the same. Didn't want to change that. But down deep, on my whole purpose was trying to get us to be a team. That's what I believed in. We had a guy this year. He started for us. And to me, he is the perfect Bolles example. He played a position that most people weigh about 230 or something playing. He weighed 175 pounds. And gave it everything he had. Was a tough little nut. That, to me, is what an awful lot of Bolles people have been. Guys that worked, played above their level of giftedness, but played hard. And I probably have as much respect for this guy as anybody. And yet, He never made any all-state teams or any of that kind of stuff. But I knew what he could do. And, you know, knew what he had sacrificed for. So, you know, there's a lot of things like that and thoughts that I have about guys. And many of the guys that you seem to like over the years and care about really weren't the best players. 28 years ago when we came here, they had Mr. DeMont Mullen was the head man. And one of the things that he did that I thought I was so impressed with was the fact that he was a guy that did not particularly care for athletics. He was the head of the English department at one time. He was a very smart man. But he realized the importance of athletics. And he gave us this chance to coach, to do it on our own, very little, never bothering us, never saying much to us, letting us do the job. You know, nobody would ever have to check if we were at work. We were here every day. So the freedom they gave us, and it started with him, was very, very important. And I think that that's one thing that we've been blessed with here at the Bolles School, is letting us do it on our own and try to do it the best way. We're just people. We make a million mistakes every day, but we tried to do it the right way. And I think that the guys know that we coach, that we try to do it the right way. You know, we're not perfect in what we do, but it's a situation where I think Bolles in general, the way their sports program is run, Coach Morse, the athletic director, is in charge of it. It's top of the line, and people do things the right way. Really what my plans are right now, I'm going to work the next couple of weeks, and then I'm going to officially step aside. But I'm going to be around, and people need me or anything, I'm here. So that's what our plans are right now. But hey, I do thank you guys. I know you had something better to do than be here with me. But anything you can say about our school or our team or stuff would be appreciated.
Thank you, Corky.
Okay, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, man. Thank you.